In this era of bank failures and inflation, it is so important to have a financial plan, unless you want to be walking into it blind. I mean, that's what we are at today, where you look at people that don't have anything, they don't have any savings, they don't have the know how and the knowledge to actually do something about the circumstances that we're in. We're all in this boat together. We're all experiencing inflation. We are all seeing the effects of printing trillions of dollars. We all have to deal with it. And some people are looking at this and they're seeing what's coming down the road and they're realizing that this is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Let's talk about a financial plan today. As we are navigating the uncertain economic climate, it's essential to be proactive and take steps to safeguard our financial future. So in today's world, it's not just about earning a good income. It's about being smart with our money and making informed decisions that will help us achieve our financial goals. To do this, we need to have a clear vision. We need to break down our goals into manageable milestones, and we need to stay focused on our objectives. This is something I've done for a long time, okay? I've always taken the big thing, which seems impossible, and then you got to break that down into these little segments so that it's much more manageable. Okay, we're going to look at 5 steps to provide some insight and practical tips to help you create your financial plan. How does that sound? Interesting? Let's go. Find your inspiration. It's important to identify what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. If you're going in with no understanding of that, how are you ever going to get there? If you get into your car and you have no idea where the destination is, you're just going to be traveling around in circles. Well, having a clear vision of your long-term financial objectives, such as buying a home, retiring comfortably, that can provide you with the motivation that you need to take action. Once you have identified your goals, some time needs to be taken so you can consider the reasons behind them. Attaching reasons to your goals can help you stay motivated and focused on achieving them. Each and every day, I spend time thinking about what I want, what I need, but also what I want. And then I immediately ask the question, okay, how am I gonna get it? That's what I do. I don't just dream and say, hey, maybe I'll win the lottery. I actively say, what can I do? I don't necessarily do those things, but I just ask that question. What can I do? What can I do? Get the goal, get there. And I've been able to achieve what I would like to. And this has taken a very long time, many, many years. And it's a practice that I constantly are taking, into account. Examine your situation. To set effective financial goals, you need to assess your current financial situation. This involves creating a budget, building an emergency fund, saving for retirement, paying off debt, depending on your circumstances, right? You got to look at your income, your expenses, your debt to determine where you can cut back, where you can save more. A lot of time people are spending on what they do not need. A lot of times they have things in their household that they'll never use, and yet they could be selling those things, releasing the burden from them on one level, but also bringing in a little bit of money. For some people, it's a no-brainer, okay? And then we have, your, income tax situation, your net worth. These factors will affect your financial planning decisions. So it's impossible to dictate for everybody, but certainly we need to be aware of these things, okay? And never forget about them. You've probably heard of SMART. That's an acronym, S-M-A-R-T. Well, we got to think smart. Make sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and of course, time-bound. This means setting clear objectives, defined timelines, and specific targets. Look, if you are looking to pay off your debt, well then set a specific amount of time and a timeline for paying it down. Consider all of the necessary pieces of a plan, including the steps you'll take to reach your goals. If you don't hit that plan, maybe you're trying to be really aggressive about it, well that's okay. Don't worry, you're gonna get there. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just say, okay, I messed up, I did this, I did that, but I'm gonna get there. And this is what I'm going to do to get there. Write them down. Writing your goals down can make them more real. It'll help you stay accountable, of course. I've actually suggested this many times before on the channel, where if you were to actually write down every single expenditure, even if it was 1 penny, and you had to physically take out a pen and a paper and write it down, you would be less likely to buy it. It's just a matter of fact. Because then you think, well, maybe I don't. It gives you that last little bit, like that little bit of friction suddenly prevents you from doing it. This is a great way for people who have compulsive spending habits. Keep your goals organized and tangible by filling out a worksheet, spreadsheet, or notepad and track your progress regularly. By tracking your progress, you can make adjustments and stay on track towards achieving your goals, okay? And I believe this is the last one. You got to treat yourself. Celebrating your progress is an important part of achieving your financial goals. When you reach a milestone or complete an objective, reward yourself. It's important to do so in a way that aligns with your overall financial plan. You don't, if you're trying to save for a house, for instance, you don't want to actually then go and buy a Lamborghini. Oh no, not a good idea. But you can go out for dinner, celebrate in that way, okay? One of my favorite things in the world is coconuts. And when I hit milestones, for me personally, I like to get a coconut. That's just something I like, okay? It's a small thing, but it's symbolic. And it teaches me to remember where I'm actually at, okay? The coconuts are one of my favorite things in the world. And so if I can have one of those, to me, that's fantastic. I celebrate that. I don't need something, lavish and all these things. So I think it's important that we set effective financial goals, and that is really a crucial step towards achieving financial stability and success. By following the 5 steps that I've talked about here, we can create a solid plan to achieve our financial objectives. By having a clear vision, breaking down our goals into those smaller milestones that I talked about, and staying on track, we can take control of our finances and be prepared for whatever the future has in store. I talk about it often, but the pillars of prosperity are really something everybody should be aware of. And that is, we want to have our preparation, our self-sufficiency on one hand. At the same time, we want to increase our income. Now, if we're in business, we could absolutely be increasing our income. These are the things that we have a lot of control over if we have our own business, if we have a side hustle, if we are able to produce income. A lot of people, they don't realize that so many people today are willing to pay. There's a lot of money out there, a lot of money for basic things. House cleaning. For house cleaning, people will pay for a simple house, $200. So that's $200. A lot of these people are taking cash in a single day's work. What about detailing the car? I've heard, $150, $200, depending how good they do it and reputable and all these things. If they come to you or you have to go to the location in a single span, okay, maybe it takes 2 hours, 3 hours, what have you. If you're working in a regular job, how much money do you make a day? How many sources of income do you have? How many customers do you got coming in the door? You've got to figure out a way that in your, if you're working a business or working a 9 to 5, whatever the case may be, how can you increase? How do you add to? And of course, hopefully, how do we multiply? That's a scalable business. All these really things they're so important. You have a skill inside you today, and those skills need to be monetized. We are in very difficult times, and it's going to get worse because we know inflation's here. If you want to take this action that you have inside you, I know you got it inside you, you can always reach out to me, david@themoneygps.com. We can work together, okay? I want to help you on different things that I can. I offer my services. You let me know, david@themoneygps.com. You could build out a course based on the knowledge that you have, helping people actually do what they need to do. Maybe that's you're great at selling stuff on the internet or selling stuff in person or painting or baking or anything. All of these things can be a skill that can be monetized, and you're sitting on that inside your head. Why not get it out into the world? That's it. I'll see you next time. Take care.